Welcome to the Geeks Assembled podcast. Be afraid. Be very afraid.
Even a man who is pure in heart and says his prayers at night may become a wolf when the wolfbane blooms and the autumn moon is bright.
Hello, we are Geeks Assembled, and tonight it's horror night, and we are talking about a classic of 1941. It's The Wolfman. And let's start off with, who should we go with first? Let's go to Brian, since he's nodding his head or dancing or whatever he's doing. Brian, what are you doing?
I don't know. I'm just bowing my head. Anyway, what I thought of the very first original 1940s Wolfman is, I absolutely love it. It's probably, in fact it is, one of the all-time classic within horror movies within Universal. It's just unbelievably a classic film. I absolutely enjoyed every 1 second of this film. Every minute of it, I just love. Lon Chaney Jr., I believe, is the Wolfman. Yeah. And, he was absolutely amazing as the Wolfman. The makeup that they did for the Wolfman was absolutely incredible for that time. Because all nowadays, if they would ever have a movie like this, it would be just CGI.
It'd look awful, Brian.
Which they actually did within the remake. But the remake wasn't really that bad. But still, this is the original one. The original one I just absolutely love. This is my second time I've seen the film, and I think I even love it even more than the first time around that I've seen it. So I just love the Universal monster movies. The first monster movie I've seen was Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, but that's for another day possibly. But I love this one. This is just a classic.
Oh, well, I'm sorry you didn't like it, Brian. Let's go to Stephen Price. Is it a classic, Stephen?
Yes, it is. Like Bela Lugosi's Dracula and Frankenstein. Lon Chaney, his father, was the man of 1,000 faces. This movie, the effects for the time were great. What part made me laugh in the movie was when they go into the house, the mansion, whatever. You could see it was in the studio. You couldn't hear the car running and nothing. That's what made me laugh. Yeah, good effects. The remake is well, it is good. Yeah, that's well worth watching. Anthony Hopkins in it, and some other, can't remember the guy who plays the Wolfman. Well, anyway, this was just amazing. A great movie.
What made me laugh was the towards the beginning with the driving. Well, they're driving along the road. I mean,
yeah, you could tell the background was a studio.
It was just flat. Yeah, it was just yeah.
Somebody was shaking the car as if it was moving, like.
Yeah, but I love that sort of stuff. I think it's got to come to it. I love that sort of stuff. Let's go to Alex and Susan.
Yeah, well, they had a limited budget, but it made back its money, and it pretty much, it's pretty much the blueprint for almost every horror movie. And, the legend, what they wrote, lasted a very long time. and you got to admit the cane was cool as well. It is kind of funny how aggressive he was with the young lady in the shop. I'm like, wow, very. But the irony is, she brought along a buddy of hers, another woman, when he wanted a date so badly. So I said, oh, for the 1940s, they've heard of the buddy system apparently, even though it didn't help. But anyway, yeah. But yeah, I mean, this is like 95% good. I mean, this is like Dracula from 1930s. It basically cements the legend. It basically inspires everybody to rip it off. And that's what good fiction should do. It should inspire you to rip it off or reboot it, as they say. But the remake was okay. It does have Anthony Hopkins and the gentleman now who's pretty much a movie producer, even though he was in Excess Baggage with Alicia Silverstone and Christopher Walken, and he was one of the villains in the License to Kill James Bond movie from the 80s. Benicio del Toro is the person who did the modern Wolfman remake, reboot version. But yeah, this is a pretty good version. And as I said, I think probably about 10,000 horror movies copied this and copied the plot and copied the structure. And, that means it's pretty good, if not great. Yeah.
And my impression of this was properly scary. It had the greats. It had Lon Chaney. It had Bela Lugosi, and it had Walter Williams or whatever his name is, and it was dynamic. It was amazing. The truth was in your hand. I could tell why you wanted Brian to go first, because he's got the sign of the wolf on his shirt. He's got the pentagram on his shirt.
What?
You do. Right
What?
there. I'm looking right at it, buddy. There you go.
Oh, that's the Captain America shield.
Oh, whatever. It's still a pentagram.
It's Captain America. It's not a pentagram.
Captain America and the werewolf are working together, eh?
Hey, that's what I'm thinking. Anyway. So, and I love gypsies. Oh my God, I love gypsies so much. And there was so many cool gypsies in this. Once again, much like my review for the last thing that we were reviewing, I love the old lady. She was brilliant. She hung around. She took care of our hero, anti-hero Wolfman guy through his transformation, because she knew that her husband Bela had passed it on to him, as it were. And I love all the lore that they developed for this movie about werewolves. That there was just so much lore sort of imparted through this, so that it became like, basically the stock and trade, so that everything up to and including like the modern vampire books and the modern werewolf books, and even Twilight had the lore from this in there.
Ooh,
But it was rich. It created culture, and that's pretty amazing. And yeah, I enjoyed the fact that even though he was so pushy with her, that they got a chaperone. Poor Jenny. Anyway, that was pretty great. So yeah, my bit.
Thanks for that, Susan. And yeah, I thought the old one was great as well. Let's go to Beef Dad.
Yeah, I've always loved this film. It's always been one of my favourite films of all time. Marie, as you say, Maria Spenskaya playing Maleva, the old gypsy woman, is just absolutely brilliant. And she's the mother of Bela, not her husband. And Bela Lugosi playing her son, who tells fortunes. He's just brilliantly creepy. Yeah, the makeup. Yeah, the makeup by what's his name? Jack Pierce, who also did the Frankenstein makeup. Was brilliant. The makeup for it took 6 hours to put on, and the hair that was on his face was yak hair. It took 3 hours to put on, 3 hours to take off, but 6 hours to put on. So I mean, that must have been really tiring stuff. Yeah, and the one person that a lot of people don't mention is Claude Rains playing Sir John Talbot, his father, who actually is the one who kills him in the end. He's brilliant, and of course he played the Invisible Man. And Evelyn Ankers, who played Gwen, the girl that Lon Chaney Jr. got involved with, the girl from the shop that sold him the cane with the silver wolf's head on it. She went on to do many, many other horror films. She's very, very well known for the Mummy films. Yeah, and of course, Lon Chaney Jr. came back as Larry Talbot in Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman after a bunch of grave robbers tried to rob his grave. And in the crypt, they exposed him to the moonlight, and he revived. It's been an awful lot of films, and not just horror films, but sort of horror comedy films, in which he played Larry Talbot. It's just a magical film for me. I've loved it ever since I was a kid.
And that's been a very long time. He says that, but he wasn't a kid when this came out. He was at least in his 20s.
No. Oddly enough, this came out 7 years before I was born.
7 years?
Yes, 7 years before I was born.
No one's believing that.
One of these days you'll burst into flames.
Well, actually, doesn't Carry On Screaming, which we watched, the first thing we watched on this channel, is a spoof on this, isn't it? Yeah. Let's go to Lee.
Isn't it a spoof on everything?
Yeah, but I remembered some scenes in that when I watched this, it reminded me of Carry On Screaming. That takes me back to when Carry On Screaming.
Yeah, Oddbod and Oddbod Jr. The makeup things are sort of related to this. But the Wolfman. Is it as good as Dracula? No. Is it as good as Frankenstein? No. But it's, for Werewolf War, it's an awesome movie. A very awesome movie for Werewolf War. You've all mentioned the makeup, but I can't really go down that route. I totally forgot that Bela Lugosi was only in it for blink and you miss it so many minutes. For an actor, you know, a well-known actor, just to be in it as a little cameo. Yeah, I totally forgot he was the one who turned Larry Talbot to the Wolfman. But yeah, it's I mean, it's supposed to be set somewhere in England or Scotland, somewhere in a mist-covered woodlands, which was a studio, as you could tell. But yeah, it's a shame that this movie typecast Lon Chaney as a horror movie actor. Because before this, he was doing other stuff. But until this movie, and after this movie, it was horror all the time. And as Beef Dad said, he retained as the Wolfman. He came back as the Mummy, and he also had a stint at doing Frankenstein at one point, Frankenstein's monster.
But he was so good at it. So you know he found something that really he was absolutely completely perfectly suited for.
You say Lon Chaney Jr. to me, and I think of only two roles: the Wolfman and Lenny from Of Mice and Men. They're the only two roles I can think of straight off the top of my head.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Sausage and Swiss.
No. Shut up.
Sausage roll, Swiss roll, you know.
But yeah, so the Gypsy Lady, brilliant. Claude Rains. Any movie Claude Rains was in, he just you know, believable parts he played. Even when he was playing the Invisible Man, when you couldn't see him, he was believable, Claude Rains. But yeah, I agree with what Alex said. I was watching this and I'm thinking that's a bit creepy. Spying through the telescope at the woman through the bedroom window, then going up to her, confronting her, and just blatantly saying, "Yeah, I've been watching you and all." Bit weird, but yeah. But is it me, or was I the only one who was cheering when he was throttling her, when he was the Wolfman? Because I really did want to get rid of her. But she screamed so much. But then she wasn't killed. She got up in the end.
Should have made a great Doctor Who companion.
Yeah. No one's also mentioned police captain. I can't remember the character's name, but I think it was Ralph Bellamy who played him. You know, a very good actor and a veteran actor as well, because he was still making movies well into his 80s and 90s back in the day. So yeah, I agree. It's a good movie, but as I say, it's not as good as Dracula or Frankenstein. But for Werewolf Law, this is where it all started. Over to you, Ali.
Well, I like Mr. Twiddle.
Oh yeah,
I like Mr. No one's mentioned Mr. Twiddle. I was waiting for someone. I thought Lee was going to mention him then, and then he didn't say his name. I was so sure Lee was going to take it because he always does.
I always leave you with the twiddle.
Yes. When Lee said we were doing this one, I thought this was going to be another 50-foot woman and Plan 9 from outer space. I thought this was going to be another awful, you know, 1940s type film, but it's really not. It's I mean, it's only 70 minutes, so it's not long at all. It's only an hour and 10 minutes. That's all it is. It goes by really quickly, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. It was intense at times. You know, there's no gore. There's violence, but it's not gory violence. Like towards the end, where the father's beating the son, who is the Wolfman. Even though there's no gore, I thought that was quite intense. He was beating him quite. He was making sure that he was really dead. he was really going for it, you know. And I thought that the ending was very good, actually. But the scenery in that, even though it was in a studio, I thought it was brilliantly done. I thought the way they used the smoke to hide the fact that it was in a studio, you know, because obviously you can't have a full forest in a studio. I thought it was very, very, very well executed. I like the old gypsy lady, as Susan and Lee have mentioned. I think she's one of the best characters in it. Yeah, and you know, again, being black and white, it just gives a lot of atmosphere. It gives a lot of atmosphere. I mean, I'm not usually into wolf things and vampire things, even though this doesn't have vampires or anything like that. It's just wolves, werewolves. I really did enjoy it. I thought the costume of the werewolf, I mean, 6 hours to put on. Good God, you got to have patience to do that. And then 3 hours to take off.
I think that's why. I think that's why he became an alcoholic. He couldn't take any more.
Did he?
Yes, yeah.
I think anybody would be, really.
Sounds of that, yeah.
No, but I thought it was absolutely excellent. I really did enjoy it all the way through. I mean, it's only, like I say, it's an easy watch anyway. I mean, it's 1 hour and 10 minutes. You can easily put aside 1 hour and 10 minutes to watch it.
So, have we finally turned you towards the dark side then?
No, because it's not gory horror. There's no gore in it at all.
Most horror movies don't have gore. It's just the modern day movies what are just gore fests.
Yeah, and it has an atmosphere about it, and there's some creepy moments and creepy characters, but it's not frightening. I mean, it could have been back. I can imagine when this was released, it would have been very frightening for studio goers, for cinema goers, but not now. I mean, you see a lot worse on EastEnders. I mean, Christ's sake, there's a lot of nasty, violent stuff on there.
Oh,
But yeah, no, I'm glad.
You don't watch that rubbish, do you?
Not anymore, no. No, are you happy, Stephen? What's Alex?
Actually, that might improve the show if they did have werewolf.
Yeah, no, it could do. Yeah, maybe we'll put it as a suggestion.
Like Dark Shadows.
What's Dark Shadows?
It's an American TV series.
Yeah, it's an old vampire show.
It was a soap opera. It's a soap opera within sort of tense, sort of gothic, vampire-y, and it lasted quite a few years.
I mean, the effects of how he turned into the werewolf are clearly just very basic, you know, overlay, where it's just like they film one bit and then they put another bit on, and then they film that, and then they kind of overlay it. But that's all they had back then.
Yeah.
So that's fine. Even though that is slightly dated now, I think that's okay.
Well, I mean, but he did actually look like a wolf or an extremely
I did like
cave bear type of.
Yeah, but I did like that bit when he's in the gypsy camp, and then he has flashes, and it's going back to all, you know, where he realizes he's a wolf man, and he's getting those flashes of memories of people and that, and of the gypsy lady, and of the fortune teller, and of the woman that got killed. You know, I thought that was pretty effective, actually. Yeah, that was good. That bit was good. I think that was one of the best bits. Let's go to favorite moments anyway. Let's go, Susan, Alex.
All right, my favorite moment, I guess, was the bit where he's Lawrence is walking into the church, and the preacher's there and his father's there, and he stands there for a moment, and then he looks really, really perplexed, and then he looks really pained, and then even though he doesn't burst into flames, he walks out of the church. You know, that became the story of most men in the from the 40s to to the 70s and 80s and or till now actually, is that most churches became mostly women because men were walking into church and then turning around and walking out, and it was just it's a strange phenomenon. But you saw it there. You saw what that looked like, where someone who had succumbed to their organic nature, was I interpreted a lot from that. So anyway, that was my favorite bit. Here you go.
I liked most of the movie, so I don't really have a favorite moment, even though it does compete with Wolfman Jack and I Was a Teenage Werewolf with Michael Landon. But otherwise, I thought it was a great movie. And thankfully, the Wolfman doesn't have 1950s type of musical numbers like the Michael Landon werewolf movie did. So.
And I like how Brian turned into a wolf there for just a second.
What?
Oh, Brian, do it again. I missed it.
I didn't turn a wolf. I'm not a wolf.
Brian, tell us your favorite moments.
You've got the sign of the wolf on you, and your face was that of a dog or a wolf. Sir, I don't think I think you're living in denial. I think that you're a werewolf, and I'm not really sure that you are able to necessarily process this yet, but I understand.
He did go camping. He has been camping in the woods. Probably went there for his annual hunt. Turn to his true self.
Ow!
You're muted, by the way, Susan, so I don't know what you're saying, but I'll agree with you.
Disagreeing with you. Yes, exactly.
Brian, what's your favourite moments? See, he even howled. See, it's all there.
Ow, ow, ow!
Do you know what? You would really be the most unscary werewolf in history. Howl.
My favorite moments within this film.
Where are you going?
I'm here. No, but my favorite moments within this film have to be
You're just going to read the synopsis here.
No, when the first Wolfman transformation would have to be my first favorite moment, because that's when you actually get to see the transformation of the Wolfman, and you get to see like how he looks and get to see him for the first time and everything. So I think that would have to be my first favorite moment within this film. My second favorite moment for the movie would have to be the ending from where they from when he is on the from when the village people is hunting him and everything, and he's the Wolfman again, and his the only one that could take him down and unfortunately kill him is his dad. So he fortunately dies within the film. So I think that whole scene was cool and everything.
Yeah, but you know what I like about that is that the other people hunting the Wolfman think the son saved the girl.
Yeah, that's true. So he becomes like a whole hero.
Yeah, so they think he's a hero because they think he died fighting off the Wolfman and didn't know that he was the Wolfman.
Anti-hero.
Yeah. That's what I like about that ending.
You know, it's funny too, because within the remake was a whole completely different story.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. They didn't stick with the old original Wolfman movie. They made their own thing out of it with the ending, so which was cool as well.
Oh, so it wasn't really a remake. It was more of a reimagining, more of a... Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you got any more favourite moments? You got a third one?
No, not really, except for one, the scene that he gets his werewolf cane. Because it is the Wolfman movie, and that kind of symbolizes and hints of what Lon Chaney's character is going to be, and for what the movie is going to be leading up to, and for him to become the Wolfman and everything. So I thought was cool. So other than that, though, those are my favorite moments.
Let's go to Stephen Price, favourite moments. Oh! that is pretty scary.
What's wrong?
Favorite moments?
That's not scary. That's Steven.
No, have you not seen his teeth? Do it again, Stephen. Susan wasn't looking.
He looks like
He's got wolf teeth in.
No, it doesn't look like a wolf. It looks like more like a vampire.
Wolf vampire.
I'll have you later, Brian.
Oh, going to suck your blood.
Favorite moments. The classic one has got to be where turns into a wolf and he's in the forest, and that part where he is by the tree and he's looking. I thought that was, when I first saw that really creeped me out. And I like the atmosphere, the fog, the mist. I love the old gypsy woman.
I'm sorry, I think Lee's suffocating.
What? If that was made in colour, it would have ruined the old film. The black and white give a, far better in black and white.
Oh, no, it can't be in colour.
Oh, no.
No, it honestly, it would totally take away the atmosphere.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be good at all.
No. Do you want the score?
No, just... have you finished with favourite moments?
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Beef Dad. Or Lee sorts himself out.
Well, one of my first favourite moments is the first time you hear the rhyme. Even a man who is pure in heart and says his prayers at night may become a wolf when the wolfbane blooms and the autumn moon is bright. And that's a classic piece of cinema quotation. And the thing is, it's repeated on and on about 3 or 4 times. I love the part where Maria Spenskaya is actually in the woods in her cart and tries to get Larry Talbot away from them, but he won't. She's just brilliant in it. And then of course the scene where she's there with his father after his father's killed him, and she's just so brilliant in that at that moment. She sort of holds it all together. She manages to bring his father down emotionally. Yeah, and of course the other bit is that after he's become a werewolf, after he's been bitten by the werewolf, the first time he can't meet a dog, the dog goes absolutely mental at him. That is just so good. That is just so good. I love it. Yes, those are my favourite bits.
And let's go to Lee's bits. Lee, tell us your bits. Tell us about your bits.
And sit.
Well, you know,
Your cat's not looking very well. You had her teeth cleaned. He's got a bigger mouth than you, nearly.
the favourite, well, one of the favourite bits is just what Brian said earlier, what just brought a smile to my face. The village people hunting the Wolfman. Now, I never saw this. Going through the fog, Red Indians.
Chased by an Indian, a builder and a cop.
Not those village people, Alan. God, turn down the flame, man.
I just
singing YMCA.
I just, as soon as Brian said it, that was the image what was in my head. Yeah, that's how my head works. Yeah, it's a good film. Favorite moment. I like the transformation. As you say, it's a simple overlay, and they were still using it in the 60s. Look at the 10th Planet, Doctor Who, the regeneration. That's what they did. Yeah, and the makeup is for the time as it's awesome. But I say, yeah, the scene at the end with Claude Rains, as Ali said, just beating the crap out of his son, without realising it was his son. Like that scene there, then once he transforms back, the shock on his face was just, it grabbed you, and yeah, it's just a good film. But as I say, not as a classic as Frankenstein or Dracula, but it's there, up with them.
Yeah, but as a werewolf film, would you say it's one of the best?
This is what I said earlier. For a werewolf film, this is where everybody comes to for the werewolf lore now. You know, the wolf's bit, silver bullets, silver. You know, the howling at the moon, the pentagram thing, all that. This is the movie. Everyone, what they're making, if they're making a werewolf movie today, they always look back and take something from this, or they take something from a movie. What's taken from this? So this is what started it all, really.
Yeah, and you see that's why it's so important, because it started.
Because the movie was mentioned in the two boys went to the pub in American Werewolf in London.
Oh yeah,
about the star as Lon Chaney, Universal Studios. That's the sign of the Wolfman.
Yeah, no, it's like I say, it's I think it's a great film, and I've already mentioned really my favourite moments. The ending, the old woman, Mr. Twiddle. But let's go to final say and score. Let's go to Alex and Susan, because I see Susan is desperate. Yeah, wake him up. That's it. Wake him up. Give him a shake. Give him a shake.
All right. Well, I'm not desperate, but I really enjoy this movie, and I would like to have Beef Dad recite or remember whatever poem that it is for this cast later.
He can't even remember what we're doing.
This is an amazing piece of film, and because it has a really good message in so many different ways, and it informed the lore, created the lore. And so for that, I'll give it a 9.5. Here's Alex.
Yeah, like I said, this pretty much started it off. So for this, if it wasn't for this movie, you wouldn't have Teenage Werewolf, you wouldn't have The Howling, you wouldn't have American Werewolf in London, and maybe a little bit of Wolfman Jack. But I'll give this movie a 9. It's pretty good. And it is better than Universal trying to bring back, reboot again, these monsters and call it the Dark Universe. They're not having too much success with the new versions of these.
I love Alex's scoring because he gave Kubo a 9, he's given this a 9, and he gave Ready Player One a 9. Wow. I wonder what next week's going to bring. Steve.
Yeah,
Get
great
your bets
movie.
on, folks.
What?
Nothing. Go on, Stephen.
Yeah, great movie. Yeah, Lon Chaney died back in 1971, aged 67, and his body was donated for medical research. Yeah.
And what's that got to do with your score?
I give it a 9.
No, you're just copying Alex.
No, I'm not.
You are. You're just listening to what Alex says and you're repeating it.
No, we're not.
You are. I'm on to you, Stephen. I'm on to you. Let's go to Brian. Because we have to. Let's go to Beef Dad instead, since Brian doesn't want to go.
I'll go.
No, I've said Beef Dad now. Beef Dad's going. Thanks, Beef Dad. Let's go back to Brian.
Thank you.
No, Beef Dad. Let Beef Dad get going.
All right.
It's a little difficult because this was a very big part of my childhood. I mean, I remember this when I was very, very young, and I loved it then, and it's always been up there in my head. Yeah, I guess a 10.
10, our first 10. Let's go to Lee.
So, final say and score. On a hot summer night, would you offer your throat to the wolf with the red roses?
Well, let's not answer that one. That is not the right question to ask this lot. I mean, really, Lee, would you offer your throat?
We say, you don't know that that's lyrics from a song. You're not a Meatloaf fan, but there you go.
No, but I love Bonnie Tyler.
Oh, yeah. Don't we all?
Turner, because he was going to sing that song, that song was written for him,
Yeah, Total Eclipse, yeah.
Yeah, Total Eclipse, yeah.
Who?
What was I saying?
I don't know. We don't know. I don't pay attention. Alex, what was he saying?
It was, Alex didn't pay attention to me. It's usual.
Every time you speak, he goes to sleep.
Well, no, if you can let Lee finish.
Oh, says Mr. 9 out of 10.
I've got to say.
Can I just say something? Alex is asleep every time Lee speaks. You watch. Lee will start speaking. Alex will nod off.
Hey, it's my special hour. I've got to say what Beef Dad said. I remember this movie growing up when I was younger. It was always shown late at night, either on BBC Two. When they used to do all the old classic horror movies back then.
Wait. There's a problem with your argument. There weren't 2 channels when you were growing up.
I said BBC Two.
Yeah, there weren't 2 channels when you were growing up.
Yes, there was.
No, there wasn't. He's lying, folks.
But as I say, I'm going on the standards of Frankenstein, Dracula. I love those movies. I like this movie, but it's just missing out on this one. So I'm giving it an 8.5, which is still a good score.
Yeah, no, 8.5 is still a very good score. I mean, I'm going to give this film, because I think it's an important film for werewolf lore. Well, it clearly is an important film for werewolf lore, but it's also a really enjoyable film. and it's got great atmosphere. The sets are good, the scenery's good. The makeup of the werewolf, I mean, taking 6 hours to put on and 3 hours to take off. I mean, that really is dedication. I mean, I couldn't do that. I wouldn't have the patience. But yeah, it's just a great film with great acting, and it's 70 minutes long. You can sit down, you can watch it, you can enjoy it. It's very atmospheric. I'm going to give it a 9. I'm going to give it a 9.
And what would Brian give it now?
No, Brian's had it. We went to Brian. He ignored me.
Hey, no.
He ignored me. We can go. So I'd like to thank
Oh, wait a minute.
everybody here for joining me. I'd like to thank you for watching.
Come on, Alan.
Don't forget to hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with all our videos. We have plenty.
Hey, let me
Look
give a
after
score.
yourself. Take care. And we will now go to Brian for his score. Go on, Brian. Give your score.
Come on, give me a score.
Give your score and then close the.
All right. My score for this film would probably be 10 out of 10. Okay, you happy now? Go on. Close the show.
Well, that was worth the wait, wasn't it?
All right, now I want you guys to all mute yourselves. And Beef Dad, would you do the poem, please? Here, let me